Welcome back to No Chill with Gilbert Arenas. Our guest today, former McDonald's All-American, NCAA champion out of UNC, and one of 4 players to win championships with 3 different teams. He did that with the Spurs, the Raptors, and the Lakers. Now you can catch him on his Inside the Green Room podcast as well. Danny Green, what's going on with you, bro? Appreciate you pulling up.
Appreciate you having me, man.
Inside the Green Room.
Nah, it's been a while. I'm a big fan of the show, man. I've been watching from afar for a while. It's about time I got a chance to join on.
So we got studio audience now. You really seeing us at our peak. Like, we're getting it.
No, y'all doing y'all thing, man.
Do you know the other 3 players?
That have won championships on 3 different
teams?
Yep.
I know Bron was one, Robert
Y'all did
Horry.
it together, 2020.
And then I think it was John Sally.
Ooh,
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
I only remember that 'cause I just recently saw him on All the Smoke. I think he was on with Stack and Matt Barnes recently. That's what made me remember, like, oh, John Sally, he's won a couple, man.
So are you the 3rd or the 4th? I know you and Brian won together, but your name alphabetically
Probably
comes
4th.
before his.
Yeah, probably 4th.
Nah, you got to say push the Brian to 4.
They're going to put Brian a little bit above me. Yeah, man.
So you're known for your shooting, your defense. You made an All-NBA team, I think back in 2017, right, for defensive side.
Yeah, the one time I got on there, second team.
But in your opinion, who are the toughest guys that you've had to guard during your time in the league?
Each year it changes. You know, some guys have better years than I guess previous years they've had. You know, there's some guys that play unbelievable. There was always certain guards that gave me problems that I had to chase, like the J.J. Redicks, you know, the Clays, you know, obviously Steph, Evan Fournier. Like randomly, you have like a guy like that. You have a night where I'm chasing the Joe Harris before his injury, and then there's some nights that guys are just like, you know, they're gonna put up a good amount of shots, and the offense is run through them. And Kyrie's one of them. I've seen him from his rookie year grow, and each year he gets tougher and tougher, harder to guard. Yeah. KD's 7 feet, can handle the ball, knows how to use his body. James Harden, Luka, they're just crafty. You know, guys that know how to draw fouls, and also very good at, you know, putting the ball in the basket, scoring from all levels. So each year it changes. Some years I figure out how to guard guys better, and sometimes you just never really figure out how to, you know, find their rhythm. Certain guys just have a different type of rhythm. It's kind of like dancing, I guess. We're trying to find certain guys' rhythm. And some guys you just never going to get, you just hope they miss shots. Kawhi is one of those guys. DeMar is one of those guys. They're going to bump you, they're going to get to the spots and get their mid-range. You can test as best you can, but you're not going to block it, so you just hope they miss.
Has anybody ever asked you, like what are you seeing in my game that makes you, like, so they can adjust and get better?
In terms of like younger players?
Just period, like, you know, if somebody just like had my number. Like, I'm like, yo, what are you looking at? Like, you know, like every time I get ready to pull your hand, so like, what is my anybody ask for their telltale sign?
For sure. There's certain guys, so I had it happens fast when you become the old guy. There was a time where I said I was a regular guy when I was with the Lakers. When I got to Philly, I became the old guy. And I had to kind of mentor like Matisse Thybulle and teach him defensively certain guys, certain, I wouldn't say tells, but certain habits they have. It's like, yo, you know what this guy likes to do? He favors his left hand. He's gonna try to, don't stay down. He's gonna try to pump fake you and get you off DeMar's gonna get you off the ground on this pump fake, or Jimmy. So certain things you just watch, you find their habits, certain moves, Dame's gonna, when he gets to his stutter, he's gonna pull up with that right hand, a sidestep. You know when the sidestep's coming, you gotta kind of time it, because if you don't time it, you're not gonna affect the shot. So yeah, there's certain things that I would have to teach some of the younger guys with certain players of how to guard them. But Matisse was really good anyway. He just had good reflexes, reactions, and he's athletic. He's fast, can get off the floor quick. So he had the potential to be a great defender. It was just more of the IQ and the mind part of it, of how to guard certain guys.
So we talk about this a lot now. You say you transition from kind of that young guy to now OG. Yeah. How much of those secrets are you wanting to give to those guys that potentially, you know, when playing time gets involved, potentially trying to take a spot?
At this point in my career, man, it's about winning. It's always been about winning for me. So I don't mind it, especially if it's my teammates.
Okay.
And it's a guy that I want to see do well. There are some teammates, not very few, there are some teammates that, you know, might be a pain in the ass to deal with or work with, or they know it all. And you're just like, all right, man, I'm gonna give you my 2 cents if you take it or leave it. And that's up to you. But most of the guys that I've dealt with, especially younger guys, they respect me, they look up to me. Even in Memphis, they had, you know, you hear a lot of stuff off the court, outside the court, and they seem like they're a good group of kids though. And they actually wanted to learn and wanted to be good. So I was happy to see, Dillon Brooks get his deal.
Yeah.
I was happy to see a lot of guys get the deal. Fred, I got a chance to play with in Toronto. Played with a lot of guys that got paid this summer, so it was great to see that. So yeah, there's some guys, most of the guys that I've dealt with have been respectful and just really trying to be a sponge and try to learn as much as possible. So I just try to help, it's my job now to send the elevator down, as most people would say.
So we are, I'm a LeBron fan, Lakers fans by extension, but you talk about Dillon Brooks, it feels like he was one of the more polarizing players, but ended up getting that big bag in Houston. So you got a chance to play with him briefly. Like, what's he like just as a teammate in that circle compared to obviously what the media and the outside world and the fans kind of project on them? I
never was a teammate of Russ, but I would kind of picture it being like that. A lot of people see when he's on the court, he's competitive and he's trying to go at you, and he's trying to kill you. But I hear he's one of the greatest teammates you'll ever have. Dillon is similar to that. When you're playing against him, he's a pain in the ass, but when you're in the locker room, he's going to hold you accountable. At the same time, he loves his guys. He's going to fight for his guys. He's going to compete, to the fullest. He was a good teammate and said he wanted to learn. So he respected me. He always asked questions, and he just couldn't help the emotional side of himself. He just wears his emotions on his sleeve, and he's gonna go out there and he's gonna compete. He doesn't care who you are. He's gonna go at you. He's gonna try to find the mental side of it and play mind games with you and see if that gets under your skin. Because he's just an ultimate competitor and defender. So that's just who he is, and he got rewarded for it. I'm happy that he got a chance to hopefully showcase even more of that this year with Houston.
Hey, for a defensive player like himself, was he a good villain? Because you know how defensive players don't get there's no face for defensive players. It was like.
I mean, him and Pat Bev, I think they're great villains. You know what I'm saying? They're good at what they do. It all depends on who you're guarding. You're a good villain to certain. You're not a great villain to some. If you're gonna, wake a sleeping bear, or a guy like LeBron who it might turn his game up a notch, or Kevin Durant. But I think some of the games that he had played great defensive games. Against Chicago's, Golden State, certain guys he's played great defense. I've seen him play some great defensive games. And then on the other side of it, you'll see some games where guys will get hot, or they use that as motivation, and like a guy like LeBron, you're not going to get under his skin and make him not play his game. So certain guys you can use that with, certain guys you can't. But for the most part, I said he got under most guys' skin because they just hate playing against him. He's going to do the little shit to mess with you. He's going to give you a little elbow, a little bump, dive on the floor, maybe dive on top of you while you got the ball. Little shit like that's going to irk certain guys. And actually, funny enough, I got a chance to play for both teams. They got into a fight, Cleveland. So Donovan Mitchell and Dillon got into that fight. And I was there for it on Memphis side, and I got a chance to talk to Donovan about it when I got to Cleveland. And you could tell Don's not one of those guys that gets angry. But he had enough. Threw the ball at him and almost started a brawl. And that's what Dillon does, get underneath people's skin and try to get you out your game. He was actually playing a pretty good defensive game against Don that night. And Don's a hell of a player.
So you're a New York guy. Are you a big talker, trash talker, or are you more just about your business on the court?
Nah, I mean, I think younger, I'm able to withstand and I'm able to trash talk back just because I'm from there. But growing up in the systems that I grew up in, it's just you're about your business. And my high school coach was like that. Coach Williams, Roy Williams, like that. Pop, there ain't no celebrating, there ain't no flashy. Is come in, do your damn job, And when you're focused on trying to do what you're supposed to do for his sake and for your teammates' sake, it's hard to focus on those things and trash talk to somebody at the same time. You got to be a skilled person to be able to worry about the plays, worry about this, make sure and try to play mind games with you. So for me, I'm about my business. But if somebody trash talks, I could trash talk with some of them.
I just thought about it. Like when you're talking about your high school coach, college, and Spurs. When people say this guy is a winner, what is it?
There's a lot of things that entail that. I look at another guy got paid this summer, Fred VanVleet. Even though Toronto had a struggling year, and he's won a championship. You don't have to win a bunch of championships. There's guys that may have not won at all, but you can see that he makes winning plays. I see like a guy like Alex Caruso, a guy like that plays. He does all the little things, the glue guy that the team needs, but he doesn't care about the credit. He's going to play defense. He's going to get steals. He's going to dive on loose ball. He's going to make the right play, the right pass. I feel like every team needs one of those guys. Your resume not necessarily show that you're a winner, but in my mind, I can call you a winner because I know. And they might have won on college or high school level, but they make winning plays. So to me, a winner is a guy that plays the right way and makes the winning plays and doesn't care about, getting individual accolades or what the stat sheet says for his, that night.
Okay.
I mean, it's a discussion we have a lot about, you can have a bad team, like you said, with FEV, but he has a winner mentality. You see the other side of that too, where it's the loser who's on a winning team, but he gets uplifted.
You see more of that.
You see more of that, right?
You see more of that in the league than you see the other side. There's a lot of guys that are very talented, but I wouldn't call them winners. And I'm not gonna say any names, but there's a bunch of guys I'm sure come to your mind when you say, "Oh, this guy got paid a lot. He puts up a lot of numbers." I'm like, even if you put him in a different organization, I still don't see him winning. If you put him around, even with 2 other All-Stars, or if you put him with this group, I just don't see him as a winner. I can see him, he's a scorer, he can play the game, he's good, I just may not see him as a winner. And there's more of those guys in the league than there are on the other side of it.
Are you surprised, I mean, since you're considered one of the older vets now, right? It's surprising when you're talking about the NBA as the elite of the elite, that, what would you say, about 80% of the talent that comes in don't know basketball? Isn't that a weird thing, right?
That's the one thing in life that surprises me with everything, not just the NBA or the game, just the low IQ of a lot of people around, especially in that field. If you've been doing it for so long, you would think they'd have a higher IQ. But the lack of communication in certain top organizations or situations, that's what surprises me. And just how unqualified certain people are with the jobs that they have.
Yes.
It's like, how the hell did you get this job? Or how are you playing basketball? Like, that's the one thing that, because I've seen a lot of things. You're older than me, you've seen a lot of things in this world. And you're like, oh, I'm not surprised. So-and-so, this happened. Oh, he did that. Crazy, he got paid. Cool. So somebody might pass away. Damn, he was young. Or, sicknesses happen. It's crazy. It's sad. But that's the one thing that does surprise me, is just how low of IQ some people have and just how poorly the communication is in certain organizations. I'm like, it's 2023. Why are we not communicating? No. We work together. We should be able to have some type of open forum. Like, in some organizations, it's a free-for-all. Like, guys are just figuring it out on their own. I'm like, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? So I've been fortunate enough to play for some really good organizations. So most of the organizations I've been with, they've been really, on top of things, A1. And, I've been blessed, I've been lucky. But I've seen some parts and seen the other side of it, and it's just shocking to me. I'm like, wait, y'all don't interact? Like, you've worked with this man, you don't know who that man is. Like, certain trainers and staff, like, yeah, he was on the team, but I don't really know him that well. I'm like, how do you not know somebody you were in the same vicinity with for 8 months? You know what I'm saying?
So you're a free agent as this statement, so we're not going to make you expose any of the other side, because that could be.
I'm not going to. I wouldn't do that.
We wouldn't do that to you.
No, but it's just like anything in life. Like, when you go inside of an organization and you look how the structure is, you can see. Yeah, I can see why y'all are winners.
See why,
I can see why y'all are losers. It's just
100%.
Yeah,
100%. You could tell, even as an outsider, you can see, like, when you get on the inside, it won't shock you as much, because you'll be like, this is why you guys are where you are. And it'll be shocking at first, but you're like, oh yeah, well, I am here. So I know where I'm at, and this is why they are where they are.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about a team like the Grizzlies. This is something from just an outsider's perspective. We see everybody always talks, they need that veteran leadership. Steven Adams, oldest dude on the team. Obviously, you were there briefly. Is that an issue as much as people try to make it out to be?
I like Memphis a lot. They were one of the top organizations. They were A1. They over-communicated. They were great. They had a great group of kids, guys there. So they probably needed more. I'm interested to see how Marcus Smart and Derrick Rose is going to be for them this year. I do think they still need some wing depth. They lost Dillon. I don't see many. You got Zaire. I love Zaire. David Roddy, but they're younger guys. I think they still need more veterans and probably depth at the wing perspective. But Steven Adams is a great, piece for them. On and off the court, locker room guy, mentoring Jaren Jackson and Brandon Clark, and getting them to mature. Jaren, I think, is the X factor for that group. When he decides to make it his team, that's when they're going to go far, because he can do a little bit of everything. He can shoot from the perimeter, protect the paint, block shots, can drive, finish, score. Obviously, Ja is a special talent. Desmond Bane's a special talent, and they have a lot of good pieces around him. But I think, Jaren's playing for USA this summer now. And he started making a jump toward the end of the season where he stopped getting in foul trouble. But ultimately, I think it's up to him, and I think Steven Adams is a big piece of helping him grow.
And how important is a guy like Marcus Smart for Ja? We've seen Ja.
Huge.
We got a ton of respect and love for Ja. Obviously, he's gonna have to serve that 25-game suspension. Seems like bringing a guy like Marcus Smart in, who's coming from a winning organization.
I think it's more of the Derrick Rose.
For sure. I think it's both, because I think Derrick is the veteran you need, and he's smart, but I think he's more, I'm gonna say passive, but a little bit quieter. But I see him as like a Tim Duncan. People think Timmy was quiet, but he actually talked and spoke. And I think Derrick is one of those guys, but I think Marcus is a guy you need. He's very similar to Dillon, where he's gonna, I wouldn't say push the boundary, but he's gonna challenge the guys. He's gonna challenge you. He's gonna hold you accountable more verbally. Because I've seen him do it in Boston with certain guys, telling Jalen, look, listen, you need to do this. Even Jason, and he's not afraid to voice his opinion. Derrick, he'll voice it, but he may not push the envelope as much as Marcus will.
I was thinking about with the star power, because Derrick Rose was that, he had that, so when Ja looks at him, he can look at him like,
definitely a higher respect.
I can, I
You're
understand.
MVP.
Because how Derrick moves, you come from, South Side, so, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he moves quiet.
Yes.
And I think when Ja sees that, like,
100%.
it kind of changes. Because, listen, when you're at a certain level, only a certain couple people that you will listen to. They have to come from the same background. They have to have been in your shoes before for you to listen to them. Like, I don't see him listening to Steve Adams.
You got to have somebody that's relatable.
Yeah, outside the court. Like, what are we talking about?
And that was a big key for me. Like, it's hard to have somebody come in and say, your project is to work on this guy, as a vet. And it's harder for some vets if they don't respect. Like, you have to have that player's respect first. And I was lucky enough those guys did enjoy my time and respected me. And I think Derrick is going to be one of those guys as well that they hold in high regard and will listen to. And I think he'll have an impact on Ja for sure.
Get one of my all-time favorite games, NBA 2K, is going mobile. Now, I remember back in our day, we didn't have the mobile technology to be able to play NBA 2K on the phone, so we had to play on the console. And I used to get that work from a lot of my teammates. Didn't practice as much as I should have. But now that I'm older, I'm looking for redemption, and I'm going to catch all their fades again and redeem myself. Do you have any favorite 2K moments from currently or back in the day?
Yes, once we went live. Once online came on and we were allowed to talk trash, I was unstoppable.
Really?
Yeah.
You never
I had to
played
play with myself.
Okay.
No. I wanted to win.
You've never played with yourself?
No. I wanted to win.
A lot of people play with themselves.
I know, because they losers.
Okay. They lose.
Online, you have the best player online.
Now you can get ready to create your own epic plays with NBA 2K Mobile, the must-play mobile game for basketball lovers who want to conquer the court online. Download NBA 2K Mobile free and start customizing your My Player and Dream Team today. Gil, I gotta ask, which all-time Dream Team are you creating, and are you at the 1?
No. LeBron's at the 1. Rip Hamilton at the 2.
Wow.
Katie's at the 3. Dirk's at the 4. Yao Ming's at the 5.
And this is just for video game purposes.
Yes, sir.
Killers, all killers. Are you at least on that squad?
Huh? No.
I'm saying you're not even making the 12-man roster?
No, I can't make that roster. First of all,
Two-way contract?
I don't sub anyway. My players gotta die before I sub them out.
They keep them in the game.
I know how to call my timeouts.
It's a mobile game for real basketball fans. There's always something new to explore, so go ahead and download NBA 2K Mobile free on the App Store or Google Play and use promo code Tatum2K Mobile to redeem an exclusive Jason Tatum Pearl Tier card. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds baller. It's Pearl Tier. It must be nice. That's TATUM2KMOBILE. Peace.
Peace.
So let's talk about your career a little bit. So you were the man at UNC, I think about back in the day.
I wasn't the man. Tyler Hansborough was the man. I was like the fifth option. We had Tyler Hansborough, we had
know
Ty
that was
Lawson.
light-skinned and hating. We know whatever. Hansborough was going to get through. We already know how we
Yeah,
move
we
in
had
this
a
country.
good team.
You had a squad, but I'm saying, all ACC. You were an upper echelon dude. You were holding court there. Get drafted in the second round. So what's it like from you going from being one of the big men on campus to now you trying to fight to earn a spot in the league?
I mean, for me, I kind of had a similar road as Gil a little bit. He obviously had a bigger name than me, but, coming in with a chip on your shoulder and having to prove yourself still. I mean, for me, it was that I was never really a big man on campus. Tyler was. I didn't start till my senior year, but winning a championship definitely helped. Being a starter, and then but being second round, seeing all my teammates go first round, it's like, I got a lot to prove still. So it was like the work starts over. You starting at the bottom of the totem pole. Mind you, I was playing with Bron and Shaq my first year in Cleveland. They weren't bringing me in to play minutes. They already had They had Anthony Parker, they had Delonte West, they had Mo Williams, who was another all-star. We had a lot of guys in the wings. So I wasn't coming in with a perfect opportunity, but I had an opportunity to learn. So that was pretty much what my goal was. It was like, I'm gonna be a sponge, learn as much as I possibly can, and when my opportunity comes, try to take advantage. But I pretty much had to make the team, had to start over, rebuild, and find a way, to break a rotation. And luckily that happened after being cut and coming from the G League and with another team in San Antonio, after some injuries. And I was fortunate enough to get another call from them and be ready and be prepared for when that opportunity came, when Manu got hurt. He broke his hand a couple weeks into the season.
Is it the only thing that saved me is I understood basketball. Like that, as goofy as I was, as immature as I was, because I really loved basketball and my IQ of basketball is very high, that helped me going second round. Like, it kind of helped me because, when you're talking about, your back is against the wall. When you're second round, like, everyone has 4 years to perform, and they got opportunity. Because
they're expected to be bringing you in to groom you. A second rounder, they're not coming in, they're not grooming you.
You sitting there and you have to crack the lineup faster with a shorter time.
You got a shorter leash.
You have the shorter leash. I got 2 years. Some people got 1 year, and I'm the 15th man, and I got to figure out how to be the 8th or 7th man before the end of the season to get. That's the pressure.
Yeah.
We feel even more pressure though than a first round pick because they'll give that pick time to grow.
Yeah, you got time to grow.
Second round, you better figure it out.
You got 1 or 2 opportunities they throw in you. If you're not ready, you got to make most of it. Those opportunities they throw you in just to be signed back again to keep you for the rest of the team. Half the time they might waive you halfway through the season, for the certain opportunities, and those opportunities might come in practice. Now we don't even practice anymore, so it's even harder for guys to even fight for positions with with the lack of practice. But back then, said G League, you better show that you're making some growth in the G League or in practice, or when they throw you in for 5 minutes, like, okay.
There's no more practice?
Barely.
Listen, NBA y'all should thank Brian Winters for the non-practice. See, people thought I was silly when I said it. So my first year, when Larry hurt his ankle, we had Dave Cowens. Dave Cowens got fired. Brian Winters stepped in. Our team showed up to practice late anyway, right? It's just a bunch of misfits, right? So he said, all right, nobody want to come to practice, just come to the games, no more practice. So we didn't have no practice. So when Larry was coming back, he couldn't fight for a spot back, right? It was just all game stuff, just how you perform in a game. So him trying to get his legs under him is all game based, right? So all right, yeah, here you go, double.
And that's not enough time.
Yes,
that's not enough time to really show what you can actually do. Because the game, they might throw you in for 5 minutes. You might even be warm. You might get 2 shots in that 5 minutes, and it's like you go for 2. It seems like a terrible night, but who knows if you could have got hot, or it's not really a bad night to miss 2 shots. So it's tough, man. Especially in today's league with guys fighting for an opportunity to play. With how practice schedule goes, is even tougher.
So let's talk about rookie season. Who are the guys that showed you what it means to be a pro?
Crazy enough, Delonte West was one of the, not to be a pro, but he showed me a lot of the ropes of what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of what not to do by following Delonte.
Okay. Just from seeing the stuff that he was doing.
Yeah, but even though he would do crazy things, he would tell you, Rook, you shouldn't do this. But I had Anthony Parker, who was a pro, ultimate pro. I had Mo Williams, Daniel Gibson, Jamario Moon. We had a bunch of guys, but obviously Bron and Shaq, they're the stars, but you probably connect more with the guys that are the role players, because I had to figure out how to be how you guys are. I didn't really learn how to be a pro until I got to San Antonio, because I learned how to be a pro there But there was a lot of clowning around, a lot of, Bron and Shaq, big ass kids, had a lot of fun, and obviously kicking everybody's ass because there's so much better than everybody. San Antonio was business, and it's like, watching Timmy, Tony, and Manu, just how they conduct themselves on a day-to-day basis. And I was there for 4 days before they cut me.
Yeah.
And realizing why is because the lack of urgency. They just had weird things about being too cool, and not even just about on the court. And it's just like, you need to take this job serious. So the second time around, I made sure that I was ready, and that I, on and off the court was on my P's and Q's. Just watching Manu, Tony, and Timmy, and then obviously playing for Pop, you have no choice but to be a professional. If you're not, you're going to be somewhere else.
And people don't understand that, like Delonte West, he said, listen, I'm doing this, don't you do it. Like, people don't understand that, someone that does clown around, that is immature, we still understand, like, yo, Rook.
It's not for you.
This is not, I am where I am, I'm too far gone.
Yeah.
But you, don't follow me this way. Right? Don't follow me this way. People don't understand that people do that. Like, I can be an example while being an example. This is what you don't do.
You can learn more from
I'm
the
about
bad
to go
shit.
out tonight and part. Don't you go rest at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I've done already been down this road.
Yeah.
So do you feel like that rookie season with the Cavs, I don't want to say stunted your growth, but when you go back and look, and the clips are all on YouTube, you and LeBron out there, and it's Bron, so you guys are dancing shit. Did you feel like you were kind of forced into that shit? And did you have to lighten
100%.
up? But did you have to lighten up your dancing to make LeBron think he was the better dancer?
A little bit of all those things.
I've always wondered.
In the moment, I would have fun because I was a rookie, and I'm, your first year or two, you're starstruck. I'm playing against Kobe. I'm playing against KD. This is Bron. I'm carrying Shaq's shoes. If I was 24, I had to drop his bag off for him, and you're just enjoying it until Danny Ferry, your GM, comes in like, and they obviously want you clowning. You can't do what these guys do, and you bring you in for a meeting. And Mike Brown is like, look, you better stop dicking around. You can't be doing that. So in the moment, I would enjoy it, and then after, it's like, I learned my lesson, and the next time around, it's like, guys, I can't be. And I was the only rookie. I had to get the donuts for everybody, and when the thing showed up, they kicked the balls and said, do it on my own. So I do all the little rookie duties myself at the same time, following Mike Brown and Danny Ferry. And I don't know if you know much about Mike Brown, but he has a little OCD-ish, and he likes things a certain way. And if you're not following that structure, it can throw him off, and a rookie better not be the one throwing him off.
Isn't that is a hard thing to do, right? You're dancing with the star.
To balance it,
right? And then you got to go to Bron, like, I can't dance with y'all no more. Like,
ain't no celebration. You guys doing the celebration.
I can't celebrate.
Nah, you're not doing it. I'm like, all right, all right.
Like, that's my ritual. I got to dance with the Rook. The Rook's like, I can't dance with you no more.
bro.
I learned it quick in San Antonio. You learn it a lot quicker in San Antonio, for sure.
So you mentioned, so you go to San Antonio for a couple of days, they waive you. And then I remember seeing an interview you talked about how you had to spend Thanksgiving and Christmas at home.
Yeah.
So just going through that, being in that league, playing with guys like LeBron and Shaq, seeing the Spurs for that brief window, and then now you're essentially out of the league. How did that motivate you to keep chasing the dream?
Man, it was dark times, but I had a good foundation that helped keep me confident. And you belong here. You play it, and also myself. Like I've played with these guys in practice. I feel like I belong here. But being at home for 2 months, trying to figure it out, not sure if I'm gonna go overseas to play in the G League. It was tough. It hit the confidence. Pretty hard. So, but working out, builds that confidence back up a little bit, and you take the repetition, and then playing in the G League for a little bit, and it's like, I'm good enough, and then going to practice. Even when I got called back up to San Antonio, you're still like, I got to make sure I do everything right, and how to find a way. I don't know if I'm gonna be in this league long. Even though I'm on a team right now, I'm at the tail end. I'm 14th, 15th man. If I don't crack a 7-8 rotation, I may have 2 or 3 years left. I better find out or figure out what I'm gonna do next. So just trying to balance all those things, or keep a mental confidence of just believing in yourself and having your people behind you. But we practice more, so that's where I built my confidence too. Playing against Manu, being the guinea pig of helping Manu get back healthy. So yeah, man, it was a lot of things that came into play. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it was myself, me believing in myself, and also watching my other teammates and guys that I played against in college, seeing how well they were doing. It was like, I played against these guys. I can definitely do or be on this level with these guys. I just have to figure out and find a way, or just take advantage when opportunity comes for me.
Is that because it happened with me too. So that is the key, like understanding when you do lose confidence to really ensure yourself.
Yeah.
Right. I'm glad there was no G League when I played. Right. It was just IR. Right. You just sit there with your suit, don't do nothing. Right. But I went through it. Right. Where I didn't think I was good enough. Right. And I was second guessing myself, like getting killed in practice. Like, it's like, damn, I'm getting killed by them and they getting killed over there. Like, I know I can't play, right? And then, just overnight, just watching highlights of myself, understanding like, no, I can play. Then I started watching the game different. Now I'm watching how I can be dominant versus looking at everybody for how great they are. I started looking at the game, how I can dominate when I get there. And I think sometimes, when we're not seeing the results as players, and we're sitting on the bench and we're second guessing ourselves, the reason it's not turning over is because you haven't actually believed in yourself. You're waiting for the handoff. You're waiting for someone to say, all right, come on, you're good. And when that confidence has to come within.
100%. And you still see it to this day, even with the biggest stars. You'll see some guys go through slumps in the playoffs. That's more of a mental thing and a confidence thing. Obviously, it's the way of the league and the way of life as a basketball player. You're going to have some slumps. You're going to have some shooting slumps. But how quickly somebody bounces back is really how much they really believe in themselves and how much mental toughness they have. Because really, it's like watching the clips, watching the highlights, or just not think. Because some guys will just overthink and they'll be in their heads and lose confidence. And they'll be in the gym for hours and hours and they kill themselves trying to get their stroke back.
Yep.
It's like you don't have to do all that. You know how to play basketball.
Yeah.
You're only going to get, in role players, you only get 6 or 7 shots. So just stop thinking about it, just hoop, just play. And then the guys that I've seen perform the best are the guys that just went out there and just didn't care. It's usually after a day they've had a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, Fred had his baby, came back, he was up 6 hours a night till 6 in the morning in the hospital or something, come in, have the playoff series of his life in Milwaukee and then against Golden State. Some of those guys just come in and just like, you know what? I'm just gonna hoop. Or it was one of their birthdays or something like that. Guys play on certain holidays. They're just not even thinking about their shot or their slump. So it's really it comes within you and your confidence and how much you watch film and how much you just believe in yourself and not thinking like, I'm in a slump right now. No, I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of doing, and I just gotta see one going and get back there.
Hey, that's funny. That's usually when you do ball, when you just give up. Like, man, I'm just going out, man.
What's the worst that happens?
When nobody else says, I'm about to just go out there and shoot everything and be on fire.
Coach bench you, you're only playing 5 minutes. Well, if I go in, I'm shooting it every time. And that's when you probably hit the shots you take, like, he ain't playing me anyway, I'm going to shoot it anyway. So that's when you usually play your best basketball, when you're just playing free and not, the effort attitude.
Well, sometimes I guess, there's always this thing is summer runs, how great they are in summer don't translate to the NBA. It's one because overthinking.
100%.
Like I think Ben Simmons overthinks.
100%.
Like I see him shooting in the gym. I've watched him play and then watch him in the NBA like, what are you thinking for? Just do you.
And a lot of times, and that might not just come, it comes from within the person, but it can come from a lot with the sideline. The coaching has a big part to play with certain players of building and breaking certain guys' confidence. I've seen a lot of guys, get a chance to groom and be better players than I thought they were going to be. And I've seen certain guys that were really talented not get opportunity or their confidence be broken because of a coach. And it's like, oh, you don't shoot that shot, or you don't do this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, like this kid can actually play, this kid can actually shoot, but the coach doesn't have confidence in him. And until they have an effort mentality, like I'm gonna shoot it, I don't care.
Is that what happened?
Not everybody has that mentality.
Is that what happened with Ben a little bit?
Part of it. I wouldn't say that. I don't think Doc had anything to do with Ben.
Not before Doc, like just with shooting.
Possibly. I've heard some stories. I was only there for 2 years, so coaching before that, certain systems, certain coaching, certain plays. I'm sure they conducted with him differently on the court. Just with certain guys, like even other all-star players. There's certain guys that are just not comfortable because, they know themselves that's part of being a high IQ player, but they're not encouraged to shoot those shots. And it's like, I know Joel can shoot threes, but he may not be encouraged to shoot 6 or 7 threes. He needs to shoot 1 or 2 of them, which is smart. But I'm sure he'd be a better three-point shooter if he was encouraged to shoot more threes. That's just with any player. Not everybody has that freedom, not everybody has that green light or that confidence in their coaching staff behind them to be able to And pick up, I might handle the ball some, but ain't no coach bringing me in to handle the ball. Nah, you ain't doing it. You stand in the corner, and then that by design is going to lose my confidence and dribble on the ball because I haven't done it, in the system or naturally. I haven't done it so long. I'm not going to be comfortable handling the ball for anybody.
I remember Josh Hart saying that when he said he trained all summer. He said training all summer, all these new moves he was about to do when he get in. And then he said, new coach came in and said, yeah, you look better in the corner. Like, corner? I ain't take no corner shots off. He said, so I wasted the whole summer. He said, I wasted a whole summer doing something that I'm not even going to do it again. So it's like I didn't even do nothing this summer.
And when you're younger, you probably work on more things. As you're older, like, they're not bringing me in to do that, so I'm just going to work on what I need to work on. There were times where I did, like when Kawhi was out in San Antonio, I did handle the ball a little more, came on pick and roll. That's not my game, it's not my strong point. So I use it a little bit, but for me to work on those type of things now, it's a waste of my time. I'm not going to be doing Steph Curry, Trae Young, ball dribbling. I'll dribble a little bit, just to get
You're not
moves.
doing the.
Nah, I'm not doing.
You looking like Luke
coming
out
off
there
pick and
doing
roll. Like, ain't no coach. I might come up with DHO for a shot. I'm not coming off pick and rolls to make plays. And now with working with Phil Handy, I love working with Phil because he'll build the confidence in everything, Euro steps. But a lot of that stuff I will never use, but I have it in the bag, so I'm comfortable doing it. But it's most times than not, you're going to be doing what you do.
But do you ever pull those out in games and be like, see?
I did at times. Sometimes. So when I was in LA, so you do it every day with Phil, it'll come out sometimes.
Yeah.
You see Austin Reeves, he has a lot of Phil Handy in his game. In certain organizations, when I was younger. Now that I'm older, most teams ain't bringing me in to do now if I have to, I'll be like, they'll be like, oh, you can shoot a floater? Yeah, I can shoot a floater. Come on. I can shoot a floater. I can shoot a pull-up, I'm a basketball player, It don't happen often, but if I had to pull it out, if I had to pull a Euro step, they're like, oh, yeah, you could actually, you could dunk the ball still, You can still do it, but it's just not what you're designed to do. All the players run through those guys, and when they need your help, they kick out to you, and you play defense.
It was weird because I remember when I got to, I think it was Carmelo. I was watching Carmelo in the summer, right? So like in the summer, I'm working on everything. I can work on this, that, and then I just seen Carmelo working on his plays.
Yeah, he gets his spots.
Yeah, he just
mid-range.
faking, going to ISO, doing that. 2-3 hours, same movement.
Nothing else.
And I'm like, what kind of workout is this?
You work on your ball handle at all?
And then as soon as the season comes, that makes sense, right? And I didn't realize, people were special. Like you're working on the things where you're gonna get the ball, how you're gonna get the ball, all the options out of the ball, right? And once you start getting into the ABA and you start seeing like the better players in those offenses, they're working on where they're gonna get the ball, where the defense is going, where the offense is gonna be. It's like, okay, you're perfecting.
When you're young, they don't really know what you can. So they'll give you some more space to grow when you're young. So you work on more things. All right, can you put you in pick and roll? Can we have you in ISOs? So you can work on more things then. But once you find your niche and when they see what they see you as, most teams are gonna put you in a box. Yeah. And if they don't, you can say you're gonna box yourself, but your strong point's gonna come out. They're gonna be like, all right, we're gonna use you for this. Is how we're gonna use you. We don't need you to do anything else.
I'm very excited about today's sponsor, BirdDog. Look and feel your best just like me with their amazing line of shorts. Tired of the same old khaki shorts? BirdDog has got you covered. The anti-stink, sweat-wicking fabric breathes and keeps you dry all day long. No more cotton-absorbing, annoying shorts. BirdDog will help you stay stylish while keeping you cool and comfortable all summer long. BirdDog shorts also give you the best fit of your life without sacrificing movement. With their very own cloud knit fabric, you get the comfort you deserve and the style you enjoy. So ditch those stiff and restricting shorts and become a BirdDog user just like me. I love the look and feel confident rocking them on those hot summer days. And if you act now, you get a free Yeti tumbler. Go to birddogs.com/pool and enter promo code POOL for a free Yeti style tumbler with your order. Again, that's birddogs.com/pool for that free Yeti style tumbler. Believe me when I say that you won't want to take your bird dogs off. We promise you. So you talk about the highs and lows of being a hooper. I got to go back to the 2013 NBA Finals. I feel like that was more or less your coming out party. But 55% from three, set the record. Then with 27 makes.
It was a good time. It was a good time until it wasn't.
And then and we're not gonna hit too much on that. But y'all go up 3-2, go back to Miami. Yeah. But I got to know just what changed in those two games, or was it a confidence thing, or what ended up happening? Were they keying in on you more on the defensive side?
It's crazy because somebody just asked me today, what was your worst loss? And that was my worst loss, that Ray Allen shot. It could have changed a lot of things for me in history. But ultimately, we had a great group. We were playing good ball. We had T-Mac on the sideline, and he was great with keeping me confident. I don't think I lost confidence. I think I can't take anything away from Miami. They played a hell of a series, and they did a better job on me. I think there were times where our offense got, I'm gonna say, a little more stagnant. It wasn't moving or flowing as much. On that series, it was 2-3-2. So we went back to Miami for the last two. It was harder. The year after that, it went 2-2, 1-1-1. They changed it because they felt like it was a disadvantage for the home team to be 2-3-2. But on the road, I felt like we didn't. Game 7, I felt like we fought hard and we executed well. That Game 6 was the one that really hurt us. Yeah. And I think the Game 6 is where we didn't execute or move the ball as well as we did. And then just toward the end, there was a couple of things that went wrong for us, a lot of things. And the basketball guys was on their side, some of it, but so take nothing away from them, they won the series. Yeah. They got the right bounce. We missed some free throws. We didn't get rebounds we were supposed to get. Even when after Ray hit the shot, we're trying to go. Referee stopped the game. They had no timeouts, but they stopped the game just to review if it was a 3. And we had 3 or 4 seconds where we could have just gone. Oh. That right there, I don't know if you remember, if you see the clip, Pop was going ape shit on the sideline. Because it's like, but there's a lot of things that happened in their favor and things that wasn't in our favor. But they said ultimately they played a good, Ray hit a big shot, Chris Bosh got a big rebound, went into overtime, and then in Game 7, guys came alive. Mike Miller hit some shots, James Jones, they had a bunch of guys that step up at the right time.
Yeah. So that was a referee timeout, right?
They stopped the play, man.
They stopped the play.
They stopped the play. After he hit the shot, you'll see it.
You're not allowed to do that, though.
Back then, I don't know. You shouldn't. You review it after.
Okay.
We're trying to get and go. We have no timeouts. We're trying to go quick. They're celebrating. We're trying to go. We have 4 or 5 seconds to get down the court to maybe get a look. He tied the game. Ultimately, it wasn't game over, but they stopped the clock. We advanced it. I got a shot in the corner. I thought I was fouled, but I was not. Chris Bosh blocked the shot, caught a little body, blocked the shot, and we went into overtime.
It probably was a foul, I'm going to be honest.
Referees didn't call it, right? So
I'm a LeBron guy, though, so of course I'm going to lie and be like, nah, it wasn't. I'm going to lie and say, nah, it wasn't. But looking back on it, and it's funny because they always say don't let the ref decide in those moments, but we've seen it's history
you can't expect, especially from role play. Chris Bosh, role player, end of the game, they're not going to decide the game on that type of call. So you have to make it really blatant. And if I would have pump fake, took my time, I had more time than I thought. But he made a good play. He blocked the shot.
So you told the story about at 2013 he won the championship. You trying to go unwind. You end up going to South Beach, end up at the same spot as where they're celebrating that.
That did happen, yeah.
But I want to flip it now to 2014. Y'all win the chip. Mm-hmm. Did you see any Heat players at the club in San Antonio?
Nah. We don't have many clubs in San Antonio. They're probably staying in a better spot than where we celebrated, honestly. But I will say this. So winning on the road, I feel like is better than winning at home.
Yeah.
What is?
Yeah, and I've been lucky enough to experience both. I've also won in a bubble, which was not that great. But we had our families there. But winning on the road, you're forced to celebrate with your team. Winning at home, everybody kind of just disperses to different places. Some people go out to eat, some people go to, so it's like you'll see a couple of your teammates out, but when you're on the road, everybody's together and they have a spot for you guys. So yeah, we didn't go to many clubs. We went to one club. I'm sure they probably, when you lose, the season's over anyway, so you're getting drunk because you're celebrating or you're getting drunk because, damn, it's over, we lost. Yeah. I'm sure they probably drank in their hotel or whatever, but we didn't see any of them. But just so happened, we were in Miami when we lost 2013, and I was like, you know what, I need to get out. Ended up at the same spot that they were at, and I'm like, oh shit, I need to get up out of here. Yeah. Drake was there. D-Wade Brown, I'm like, where the hell? I'm like, how the hell up in Miami section? Let me get the hell out of here.
I used to have to move like that in college when random assistant coaches may pop up at the same spot we were trying to turn up. You just try to beeline out the back door.
It's time to go. Gotta go somewhere else.
But I never thought about that. Like when you're on the road and you win, you are a group.
And then on your way back to where you're going, you make a stop somewhere. Mm-hmm. So when you win, you just stay there. You stay in your city. When you're on the road, it's like you might stop in Vegas on your way back home. Or you might stop in Miami on your way back to it's like you'll be with the group.
Vegas all the time.
Yeah, they stop there, then they stop somewhere. It's like, all right, the plane's gonna stop in Vegas on the way back from So it happened to be California
How
most
did
teams,
that happen?
Golden State and Los
'Cause
Angeles.
But that's not on the way back to Toronto.
Yeah, we're about to go to Vegas.
Golden State right here, so it's a quick trip. You know, so you're playing in East or West. When you finish in the East, if you win or lose, you'll probably make a stop in Miami on your way back to the West. If you win in the West, you'll probably make a stop in Vegas or somewhere before you head back east.
So I just happened to be in Vegas that night randomly. I think I went to go see Lionel Richie or some shit. I'm in the Wynn lobby. I'm like, it's a big ass standing by the guest service that looked just like Kawhi, but they don't make no sense. Then I find out y'all was out there turning up.
They stopped at 2. I remember, actually, I didn't go. They stopped in Vegas and then LA. I didn't go to because Drake had us playing. He was like, "All right, we're gonna take some of the guys." I was like, "I'm going back to the house."
Oh, so you didn't go to Vegas?
I went to Vegas. I didn't go to LA.
Okay.
I went back to Toronto. I was like, wifey's waiting on me to get back home, man. I'm cool. They went for like the day, and then they flew back from LA. So they went to Vegas, LA, and then back to.
So how did you get back to Toronto?
Team playing. Drake's playing. Drake's playing.
Drake's playing. I was about to say make you fly commercial in that.
Yeah.
The Drake's playing.
Yeah, Drake's playing stayed. We took team playing back.
So when you look at the Spurs, probably one of the most respected organizations. Obviously, that's a lot to do with Pop and just his influence. But what makes that franchise so special?
Starts with Timmy. Just the fact that he's one of the greatest players of all time, not just power forward, but greatest players of all time, and not have an ego. And the fact that he allowed Pop to coach him, and Dave Robinson before Timmy. David, Timmy, and allowing Pop to coach them, allowed Pop to coach Tony, Tony, Manu, and guys to just fall in line. And if you can cuss out those guys, you're not, you're not safe. If they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and they're taking criticism and they're being coachable, you better be coachable as well. It just made it easier for the atmosphere for everybody to just be on the same page and not have the ego. Most organizations you don't see that. There's always a cater to the star player or make sure this guy, and there's a lot of bias, even with outside star players, and that internally chips away at the team's energy.
So is that the biggest key to like winning, at a high level, is when your star player is treated like everybody else. Like he has his ego.
He's a humble guy. Yeah, he's a humble. That's why Bron's very Steph. These are humble guys. You know what I'm saying? Steph ain't asking for better treatment than Draymond and Clay. And he comes into practice every day. Bron does the same thing. He's one of the first guys there, one of the last guys to leave, working on his body. And there's a reason why those guys are successful and they're winning. They have winning culture around them. They create it, and it starts with your star, Tim Duncan.
So you talk about Pop and just his influence being able to coach Timmy, him respond to that. But Pop just got inducted to the Hall of Fame. Again, from an outsider's perspective, it's kind of like Bill Belichick, like guys who are kind of surly with the media, but deep down they're good guys. At least that's from what people say about him. So what's your favorite Pop memory and what's your least favorite Pop memory?
Man, I have a lot of favorites because Pop, ultimately, he's a comedian off the court. On the court, though, is very intense. Cuss you the hell out. Favorite memory, there's so many of them. Was that just him telling his jokes, being on the sideline, him giving his speeches for Timmy when his jersey's retired. But there's one that I remember. There's a couple. The one for sure that stands out the most is because the year that we lost in 2013, he was pretty hard on me. 2014 whole year. And I was one of the guys that, Tony's one of those, I shouldn't, we don't the term whipping boy like you shouldn't say, but Tony was one of those guys, and then I was one of those guys that he used to get on, because he knew we could handle it. But that whole year, and after we won, we had a moment where he actually gave me a little praise. We had a hug it out moment and celebrating with the bottle and celebration. Least favorite Pop moment was probably that whole year. Just playing for that whole year. It was a rough year, man. Of being, he's hard on. I'm gonna make you a player, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna step up to the challenge. But there was a lot of times where 5 seconds to the game, timeout. I'm getting cussed out, subbed out. I probably have historically the quickest timeouts in history of the NBA with Pop. Of being cussed out. Yeah, you can look it up.
Yeah, I've seen one of the clips.
And there's a couple of them, and you can read his lips of what he's saying to me. He's like, damn. So.
Not safe for even this show, Gil.
It's like it's just
like the one with the foul. I think you fouled.
It was a miscommunication. I thought he was saying foul. He's saying don't foul, and obviously I got cussed out for that. I mean, there's a couple of them, man. And I remember one place that he's like, JJ, they're gonna run this play. Clippers, JJ's gonna come off. He better not get this shot. 5 seconds to the game, JJ pushes me off DeAndre Jordan, sets the screen, he hits a three. timeout, and I'm getting reamed. And I was like, damn. And I tried my best to try to stop the play, but there was no stopping JJ pushing you off, and DeAndre Jordan, 6'11", set 300 pounds, setting the screen, where you're gonna get around it cleanly, and JJ shooting going to his right. It don't even matter. He's fading, he's jumping, 25 inches off the ground, 30 inches off the ground. And there's no contesting that. He made it, and I was just like, damn it, I know it's coming. Timeout.
Timeout.